With me now, Republican strategist and senior contributor to Red Alert Politics, Gianno Caldwell, and attorney and Democratic strategist, Adam Sostrin. Gentlemen, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Gianno, let me start with you with this question of the day. And you heard me say it in the introduction. The question is more of a philosophical question. If you enter the United States illegally, like Guadalupe Garcia de Rios did, and commit a crime, even if that crime is not a violent crime, Gianno, should you be allowed to stay or should you be deported?
No, clearly, if it's a crime that you're committing and you know you're here already illegally, you're committing a crime. There's about 12 million illegal aliens in this country currently that we know of, and about over 50% of them are coming from Mexico. Truth be told, as an African American, if there's a group of us that go do something that may be harmless, let's say we have marijuana in our possession. The 1994 crime bill that was enforced by the Democrats, that was put on us by the Democrats, would, even though it's, kind of a soft issue, would still put us in jail, and in some cases for 30 years. So if we have to face the consequences of things, people who aren't citizens should face the consequences of things as well.
Adam, and what do you say to this? I mean, this is sort of a heartbreaking story here. This woman, she's 35 years old. She has 2 teenagers. Her family was ripped apart by this. But Gianno has a point. I mean, if you want to be treated as someone who's here legal in our country, then you need to abide by our laws. And she didn't 2 different times.
Well, if I'm answering philosophically, because I think that's the way you'd put it initially, we've sort of had a policy of lax enforcement for a long time, and people know that. And people, in order to survive, people that are coming here from Mexico or from Central America through Mexico, sometimes they do commit crimes to have certain paperwork so they can get paid, so they can have a better quality of life. If we didn't have a system in place already that allowed for lax enforcement for people to come over here seeking better opportunities, because that is indeed what's occurred, the idea of punishing them afterwards for being here and trying to take advantage of just being an American and living a better life, how fair is that? So that's my philosophical response.
Let me interject really quick. Because
wait. If I can jump in.
Go ahead, Gianno.
Jump in, Adam, based on your assessment and example, if I were to do a quick analysis, if I have a friend that robs a bank so he can give his family a better life, for you, that's okay. Is that what you're saying? That's what it sounds like.
What I'm saying is that philosophically, again, responding to Liz's question, people coming here to the United States in order to get paid, they do commit certain crimes just in order to survive, so they can be here.
That is different than you can have a better life.
That is different than somebody going out to a bank and robbing it.
Adam, let me interrupt you for a second. Adam, how is that different? Tell me how that is different, because this woman was not deported. She was not detained for entering our country illegally to find a better life. She was detained because she committed identity theft. She committed felony impersonation. She stole somebody else's Social Security card. It wasn't a victimless crime.
I understand. She committed a crime. Presumably there was a deportation proceeding, although she could have waived that in order to get out of custody and waived the issue of deportation and knew that at any point she could have been deported, which is one thing that people that are living here illegally have to go through. But the issue is we've had a period, again, I'm responding to your question, sentiment and emotionally speaking, these people are coming here to live a better life. In order to be here, they commit minor crimes in order to survive, for instance, papers, so they can work, so they can survive. That is different than going to, I'm not going to repeat this.
Adam, that if someone goes and robs a family member of yours, it's okay if they're just simply trying to feed their family to have a better life.
All right, clearly that is not okay.
No.
We have a policy where we have hundreds of thousands of people here that have come here.
It's not okay.
We've had lax enforcement. We've allowed these people to be here. We've allowed people to employ them. We don't raid every single company that has illegal people working here. They do things to make sure that they can pay these people so they have some bread on the table. That is the system that we have at play. Yes, we have to do something. We have to reform. We have to
Adam, let me jump in here for a second, because I want to talk about solutions in just a second. But if you're looking at this, I understand where you're coming from. I think there might be a bit of a logical flaw here, because I think you're referring to victimless crimes here, because theoretically, and I know that this is not all the time the case practically, but theoretically, just entering our nation is a victimless crime. But if it's not okay to rob a bank, Gianno's example here, because that hurts someone else, why is it okay to use someone else's social security number? Because it amounts to the same thing.
No, it's not okay to use somebody's social security number. I'm talking at large, people coming here doing different things with paperwork in order to get paid, in order to be employed, in order for it to be okay for the employer to pay them. Otherwise, they cannot. They cannot eke out a living for coming here. There's really nothing else you can say about this.
You are, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, because I could be wrong.
Are we doing the robbing the bank analogy again?
Because clearly I'm not saying that. We're not doing that again. Adam, clearly you are saying that it's okay for somebody to carry out an illegal act if it's going to allow for a comfortable lifestyle for them.
I'm not saying it's okay. The response to Liz's question.
That is exactly
All right, gentlemen. Before we run out of time here.
Philosophical.
Gentlemen, if I may, before we run out of time here, let's talk about solutions for a second, because theoretically I agree with what Gianno was saying, that you can't enforce laws against American citizens and not enforce the laws if the crime is committed by someone who's not a citizen here. But what's the solution? I mean, this is a heartbreaking situation. This woman is now separated from her family by the border of a country. How do we prevent this from happening? How do we allow people to come to our nation in a legal way to seek a better life while not enabling them to commit these crimes and then not enforcing our law against them? Gianno, first, what's the solution?
The solution is we enforce the laws that are currently on the books, and to a degree, there's going to be some uncomfortable decisions that have to be made. Whether there have been somebody that committed a petty crime, maybe there's an evaluation task force to determine how petty it is and perhaps give them a track to become legal citizens. But there's a number of different scenarios here, but I disagree with Adam's initial statement here, which is if you're going to do something to provide a better life with their paperwork, then it's okay. I truly disagree with that, and I think that's currently what's wrong with the left.
Adam, if you would answer the same question, what's the solution here? What's the solution to make sure that people in our country are abiding by our laws, whether they're citizens, whether they're not citizens, while trying to prevent situations where families are separated like this particular example?
Well, clearly there has to be some path to citizenship. It doesn't make sense, of course, that a person who's here for 35 years gets deported. We obviously have a problem with our system. Donald Trump, in some strange effort to solve it, has made it so now people that are living here have no real due process rights to a hearing. They can just indeed be deported. And so these are some of the things that the Ninth Circuit case is discussing. Clearly we need change. The administration has done it wrong. Hopefully they can revise this executive order.
You realize this deportation order was issued under President Obama. This wasn't something that President Trump did. She was convicted under Obama, and it was Obama's customs and immigration enforcement that put this deportation out against her.
And under Obama, there was, with the deportation order, there's a notice and there's an opportunity to be heard. Hear me out. With respect to the Trump order, there is no such notice and an opportunity to be heard. I understand there was a deportation proceeding, but maybe my co-panelist doesn't understand. With respect to those things, people go into custody and they're asked two questions. Do you want to have a hearing, or do you want to waive your hearing and then you can be deported at any point? Otherwise, you're just stuck in jail. That is the system that we currently have.
I just got a simple question for you. Have you been around open cans of paint? Because that was a completely delusional statement you just made.
All right. Well, clearly you don't understand the law. I'm sure you've been around many open cans of paint.
All right, gentlemen. Gentlemen. On that note, before we devolve into something even worse than this, Adam, Gianno, thank you both so much for being here. It was great to have you on the show.